Okay, so they want me to graph, or use the intercepts graph, yeah. X minus 4, let me change that up. X minus 4 is y. Can you graph that? Y is already alone. Doesn't matter y is on the right side, left side. If that bugs you, just go ahead and move y over here. It's the same thing, right? It doesn't, if you say A equals B, that's the same thing as B equals A. It doesn't matter which way you say two things are equal. So if it bugs you, put the y on the left. So go ahead, can you graph that thing? Go ahead and graph it as we've learned how to graph or been reminded how to graph. So where do we start? We start right here at the negative 4. That's down 4 in the middle. Because the middle is the y-axis. Right? So we always start on that middle line, right? Positive is up from the middle, negative is down from the middle. So down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. We good so far? There's our first dot, right? Whatever number's out there, that's where you start with your first dot. Now, how do I get my second dot? Yeah, it's a slope, huh? It's all about slope, and there's nothing in front of x, which that means 1 over 1, because that's just a fancy 1, and 1 times x doesn't change anything. So that's rise over run. So that means you go up 1 over 1. There's the second dot. Connect the dots. You got it. Right? That good? That's just like what we did Monday. If you do that, and you connect those dots and make that line and say, there you go, Math Excel, it's going to go, no, I don't like that. The reason is, that's what I want to let you know about this, it's saying this right here. Use the intercepts. What are intercepts? What does that mean, the intercepts?
If it's the x-intercept, that's where y equals 0. If
Yeah.
it's the y-intercept, x equals 0.
It's where the line hits the grid lines, huh? So in other words, it's saying to you, hey, I want you to use not just any 2 points, but 2 points that hit the grid lines. It's being real picky. I'm not going to do this on the test. On the test, I'll just say graph it. I'm happy with any which way. It's multiple choice anyway. I will know what you did. Just grab the one that looks right. I don't care how you get there, as long as you know the graph. But there's a couple problems in this section that are picky. So how do I do that then? See, this dot is not, this dot's good. This one's okay, because this one is on a grid line, right? That is on a grid line, so that one's good. But this one is not on a grid line, so Math Excel is not happy. It wants you to use 2 points that are both on grid lines, intercept points. So, okay, well, what can I do to find the other grid point? Yeah, just keep marching off the slope, right? Rise 1, run 1. So we do an up 1, over 1. Just do it again. Up 1, over 1. Now I'm over 2 at this point, right? And then up 1, over 1. Now I'm over 3 at this point. And then up 1, over 1. There it is. It's over 4. So it's not a big deal. I just wanted to let you know so you're not surprised when Math Excel says no all of a sudden. Now that's the same line we would have got with the other 2 points. It's not a different picture at all. It's just what you would tell Math Excel is this dot and this dot. Those would be the 2 dots you use to make the graph.
Oh.
That's what it wants. It wants you to use those 2. Even though any 2 along that line would make the right line. That's why I don't care in a test. Math Excel specifically being kind of picky here. They want you to use 2 grid points. See, both those are called intercept points. They're on the grid lines. That makes sense? You good with that? Let's try it. Okay. So, yeah, use calculator for decimals. Let me do it with you, see if they go away. 1.8y, or x, that's x, huh? 1.8x, I should say, minus 1.3y is 4.68. Okay, so solve for y. You know the first step, right? Get y alone. Let's go ahead and use a calculator with all these ugly decimals. Subtract 1.8x from both sides. And I get minus 1.3y is minus 1.8x plus 4.68. No, this is going to be ugly. Use the graphing tool to graph the line, use the intercepts and drawing the line. Yeah, it's gonna be ugly. All right, so yeah. Yeah, let's stop this one. I'm gonna give you a different way. I'm gonna write ugly. It's gonna be ugly. So
have to do it anyway.
yeah, I'm gonna give you a different way. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna put something like this on the test, but because these are all just ugly. The numbers are coming out ugly. Let me show you what you can do in this situation instead. So here's how you would do it instead, because they're gonna come out ugly, those decimals. Instead, now really, it's all because they're being so picky about to find the intercept. So yeah, let me be correct. I will put one like that on the test, but I won't make you find the intercepts. I'll just say do it the normal way, and ugly is fine. Just use your calculator, decimal, get a couple dots, all good. But it's not all good when they're making me find the intercepts. That's what I won't do on the test. I won't say you've got to do it this certain way. I'll just say get the picture however you want, and you can just do the normal thing, get y alone, and even though it's ugly, your calculator will tell you the decimals and it'll be fine. But because they're being so picky, instead, because they want this and there's ugly decimals, because both those things have come together, let me give you a better game plan. What you need to do is plug, it still wouldn't work. To find, you plug in x is 0. Well, basically what I'm going to do, let me do it this way. I'm going to make an XY chart where x is 0, find y is 0, find x. That's what I'm going to do. Now, that's another way you could have been doing these all along. It's usually not as easy, so I don't mention it. But in this case, it's really our only option. So I'm going to take 1.8x minus 1. Take the whole equation here, and I'm going to plug in 0 for x. I'm making what I call the double zero table. Why? Because that will find those intercepts. Those intercepts have one of their numbers 0. You'll see as we go. So put in a 0 there. 1.8 times 0 minus 1.3y is 4.68. That drops out. So minus 1.3y equals 4.68. Last step to get y alone there. Divide by minus 1.3. I'm hoping that's clean, or somewhat clean. Is it? What does that come out to be? Negative 3.38? Oh, no, I'm dividing there. Oh, is it that? I don't have my calculator with me. 3.6? Exactly?
Yeah.
It is just clean. Do you divide that? 4.68 divided by 1.3?
Negative 1.3?
Yeah, negative 1.3, right? Comes out negative 3.6? Is that right? A couple of you getting that? Okay. Yeah. So negative 3.6. Good so far? So this is something special we have to do that you won't have to do in the test because they want me to find the intercepts and they gave me ugly decimals. I think this is the only problem of its kind in the homework. And then, so that good so far. Now I'm going to come down here and put in 0 for y. It's a double zero table. Start the equation again over here. 1.8x minus 1.3y. Whoops, I'm running out of room. 1.8x minus 1.3y
Just
is
substitute
4.6x. Put the 0
for y.
in for y now. 0 goes in for y. Is that good? 0 in for y this time. And so this cancels. 1.8x is 4.68. Last step. Divide by 1.8. What is it? 2.6, thank you. 2.6. That's the x value that goes with the y, 0. So those are your two dots now that you put on the graph. Those two dots will make the right line, and it's the dots math Excel
Those are our
wants.
intercepts.
Abraham,
If you decide to go through the traditional, just,
the regular way.
yeah, what would you, because you get a whole.
Get a messy decimals.
What would you do? Would you write the whole decimal, or would you just grab like 2.
You could
hundreds,
you could
thousands.
just round it, and you could get 2 dots, but you won't get the 2 grid point dots. That's the problem. So you could still graph a line without any problem, which you could do on the exam, and that's all fine, because I'm not being so specific. But they're specifically wanting me to find the intercepts. They want 2 particular dots to get that line. So see, that method wouldn't get those 2 particular
So
dots.
this is only to find the intercepts with
Yeah.
for decimals.
This is just for finding the intercepts for decimals. Well said, exactly. It's just for number 4. It's just number 4 that this is required. So yeah, so now you would just go to the graph here. Let me wrap it up. So 0, so what do we get? 0, well, you can just put them on the graph right here. So I can just come down and go, okay, 0, negative 3.6, where's that? Well, it's about right here. I don't know if you can you even see that? Over 0, down almost to 4, right? 3.6. Over 0, remember the first number's over, the second number's up and down. Over 0, down. And this one's over 2.6, down 0. Over 2.6, that's about right there. Over 2.6, up 0. Then connect those 2 dots. So those, see how those are grid points? Because one of their coordinates is 0. See how when you're on the grid lines, one of your numbers is always 0? You're either up, if you're here, your height is 0. If you're here, your sideways is 0, isn't it? That's why making the double 0 table gives you grid points automatically. That's how that works. I think that's the way, if you click on the help buttons, I think that's how they show you to do all of them. I think in these sections is what they say. They don't say anything about the slope stuff yet. So number 10 is 3x plus 2f of x equals 10. And they want me to graph that thing.
So, if 2, it doesn't say 2 plus?
No, 2f of x, that's an f.
No.
2f of x.
3x plus 2, what's the thing in between the 2 and the f? Oh, plus.
Oh, this? Yeah, this plus.
I don't like it.
So 3x plus 2f of x, no, I'm making it worse here, plus 2f of x equals 10. So here's the deal. F of x you simply replace with y. F of x is what? Did we talk about that yesterday? Yeah, function values. Oh yeah, we did, didn't we? In that last thing, yeah. Function values are just y. If they made that g of x, h of x, f of x, whatever, by common agreement, that math science world just said, hey, function values, those are going to be y values. So you just simply replace that with y, and all the rest is normal. Here, let's do it. What do I mean normal? What do we do next then to graph it? Yeah, got to get y alone, right? So first, get y alone. So to get y alone, we subtract 3x, and we get 2y is minus 3x minus 10, like so. Next step, divide by 2. And so, what is that? That's y equals minus 3 of x minus 5, right? Minus 10 over 2. Made minus 5. I have no idea. Yeah, that's wrong. That should be a positive 10. I was testing you. Well done. Good job. Good? We all good? Yep. So now, to graph it, where would we start? We would start at positive 5. So that's right there. Can you see that on the graph? Up 5, or maybe I'll just make my own.
0, positive 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, up 5 in the middle. And so that'd be the first dot. And then where would we go from there?
Down 3 to the right.
Yeah, rise over run. So down 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. There would be the other dot. Connect the dots.
But you have to do it on the line, don't you? Otherwise, Math Excel will yell.
No, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know if you noticed little words. They're not saying that anymore.
Oh, okay.
That was only like the first 5 or 6 questions where they said use intercepts. So when they say you, right? If you go back here, let me show you. Yeah, find the intercepts, use the intercepts. It's only when they say that you've got to use grid points. If they don't say that, then you can use any 2 points you want. Okay, right here, find the intercepts. See here, they just say graph.
Oh, okay, cool.
You can do whatever you want. Yeah, so those two dots are fine. It's fine that this dot is not on a grid line. Yeah, it's not for the whole section. It's just for those first, I don't know, 5 or 6 questions where you got to use those. Oh, I want to finish the 15.
So we're gonna have 2 sections due over the weekend?
Yeah, we didn't get as far as we should have. 4f of x plus 4 equals 0. All right, so what do we do with f of x again? Make it a y. Just the whole f of x, just get it out of there and make that a y. So in other words, there's going to be no x in this one, notice. Because we replaced the entire f of x with y. And then just get y alone. That's right.
There's gonna be an x, but it's 0, so it's gonna be a straight line.
It's not 0. 0 would be an actual number. It's all x values. It's not limited in any way. So just go ahead and get y alone. So, right, because we just do what we normally do, and what we always do is get y alone. So just keep on going, just get y alone. Like that. And these are gone. And then we have 4y is minus 4. Last step in getting y alone, divide by 4. So y is negative 1. All right, so I've got y is negative 1. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean about the graph? Here's the x-axis, here's the y-axis. Notice there's no x. No x. So it's either a line. You guys know it's right. It's either a line that goes perfectly flat or perfectly straight up and down, huh? How do we know? So it's so I'll just say it's this or this. So whenever you have one of the letters missing, it's going to be flat or straight up and down. It's not going to have any slope to it. It's not going to have any diagonal slope. It's going to be straight up and down or straight sideways, one or the other, right? So which one is it? Well, just go through y equals negative 1. You don't have to memorize something fancy. Just say, look, this line hits the y-axis, the vertical grid, at the point negative 1. The line goes through that dot. Right? It's y equals negative 1. So what kind of line goes through that dot? Flat line. Doesn't it? So it might be opposite of how you were kind of guessing. You might think y up, down, but actually if you only have y, it's sideways. But anyway, you don't need to memorize all that stuff. Just make a line that goes through y equals negative 1. Hits the y-axis at negative 1. And you're good. That makes sense? So when one of the letters is missing, it's either perfectly horizontal or perfectly vertical. Oh, look at the time. So that's it.